With the Young Bucks accused of burying tag teams and Cody Rhodes reportedly working for AEW without a contract, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for January 17th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Despite many not being fans of the new iteration of NXT, former WWE star Top Dolla told Ringsiders Wrestling that NXT 2.0 is something he prefers due to the focus on characters. I love NXT 2.0 because people think that because NXT, the older version, was very wrestle-centric, there's more than enough other things that you can watch if that's what you're tuning in to watch. There's more than enough of those. If that's what you're in it for, then there's more than enough of those. But NXT 2.0 is heavy character-centric. That's the wrestling I grew up on, that I love. Some of the most ridiculous characters were our favorite characters, like The Godfather. To pretend that I don't like that would be inauthentic. Talking about how Vince McMahon thinks in creative terms for WWE, Matt Hardy said on his podcast that he and Jeff were supposed to win the tag team titles during a TLC match, but McMahon offered insight into how babyfaces should be booked. As Matt revealed, well, that was supposed to be our big win, and then he said, well, it's too predictable. Everybody in that venue is going to know you're going to win, and they're expecting you to win, so I don't want to do that. Let's do it the next show. And I think sometimes that's a good thing, especially when you have babyfaces that are over and that have been in this long rivalry, and the fans want to be rewarded with this proper payoff. I would have loved to have the win there, and I think it would have been the time to do the win, as being the champions, and it also would have kind of changed the history of the TLC matches a little bit. But Vince is a big advocate of, if you're over as a babyface, there are times where you don't need to win. It doesn't make a difference. That's kind of how we looked at it. With Matt Hardy announcing appearance dates with his brother, it remains to be seen when the Hardy Boys will step back between the ropes as a tandem. While there have been reports of a potential name change for the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia, that is not the case as WWE released a statement about their upcoming plans for the match. The General Entertainment Authority, in cooperation with WWE, has announced that the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event will be held at the world's largest pillarless Superdome in Jeddah on Saturday, February 19th, 2022. More details of the event will be announced in the coming weeks. The Elimination Chamber show complements the commitment of the General Entertainment Authority to provide the most famous international events and entertainment shows. This show was preceded by several previous partnerships with WWE to present international shows in the kingdom, which achieved remarkable local and international success, including the recent WWE Crown Jewel show in Rio season 2021 and WWE Super Showdown in the previous season in early 2020. Speaking to Inside the Ropes, AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker touched on WWE having interest in signing her, but noted that the company cannot be trusted, which is one of the reasons she did not sign. They definitely expressed interest. Unfortunately, I've got to pick and choose how I say this, but I just feel like you can't trust anything with that company. Whereas at AEW, I've never been promised anything that didn't follow through, so it's something that, unfortunately, it's sad that it comes down to that it makes a company not really desirable, because you can't trust anything they say. And I know business is business, and I understand totally that's what it is, but as a wrestler, business is business as well. Everything AEW had done for me, with the growth I've had here, most importantly how much fun I've had here, I truly love going to work every week. I never dread it, and that is something that is invaluable. You can't ever give that up, and if you find something where not a day in your life feels like work, then you absolutely can't give that up. I'm too thankful to AEW and Tony Khan and everybody who has trusted in me, because without them, I wouldn't be where I am right now. When it comes to the Undisputed Era reforming in AEW, many fans are excited to see what is next for Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Still, Jim Cornette feels differently, as he took to his podcast to accuse AEW of erasing the group from the very beginning. You think about how NXT and WWE kept the Undisputed Era on the top, kept them interacting with the best stars, kept them away from following their worst instincts, and this comedy stuff, it's not happening here since nobody is in charge. There is no authority in AEW. Because of this, Undisputed Era has been erased. They have lost the opportunity they had. They had a top group who fought for major titles in the other company, where they were booked like $1 million, who had been must-see television. Now it is simply over before it started. Who really cares about the Undisputed Era? With a feud looking to be brewing between the Undisputed Era and the Elite, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. WWE star Mustafa Ali has not been seen on programming since October, with him recently requesting his release from the company. Now, during a talk with Metro, Kofi Kingston revealed there were plans for him to face Ali at WrestleMania 37 last year. This would ultimately not come to fruition, as Kingston would team up with Xavier Woods to face AJ Styles and Omos. It was perfect. It was written. You didn't even have to go out of your way to creatively write anything else. It was perfect. But alas, that's not the direction that The Office, I guess, wanted to go in. I was told a few things. We start working towards those things we're told, and then all of a sudden it's not those things. It's really kind of standard fare for us. It was even reported that Ali got into a heated debate with Vince McMahon over his direction in WWE, so we'll keep you posted on his status in the company. During an interview with Fightful, NXT champion Britt Baker talked about his days when he was playing football, revealing he was backstage for an AEW Dynamite show. No, I was just focused on football at that point. I went to an AEW show when I was playing football. My dad is really good friends with a lot of people that work in the back. I just got to meet those guys, go to a wrestling match, because it was in my backyard in Atlanta, right down the street. Just went down there to meet people. It was cool. Impact Knockouts champion Mickie James is set to make a return to WWE for the Women's Royal Rumble, as WWE was able to work out a deal with Impact Wrestling. Talking about this with Believe in Pro Wrestling, Kofi Kingston said, "It's so Mickie, you know what I mean? I love it. You know, Mickie to me has been like an older sister throughout my entire career, so I'm really excited just to see her, just so we can BS a little bit and go back and forth." But I was real happy when I heard that, and I think a lot of the fans were happy too, because now the intrigue is there, right? Like, what other doors are we gonna open? Who else is going to be there? Now you really have your eyes on the Royal Rumble, because I think we've done a great job at bringing people back from the past who have been with WWE, and that's one of the main things of the Royal Rumble, one of the main levels of intrigue and excitement that the Royal Rumble brings. It just gives a whole new level, because you really have no idea. It can literally be anybody from anywhere coming in at any time. So yeah, I'm really excited about the Rumble, and when it's in front of people, it's just that much better. This one of, I feel like it's WrestleMania and the Rumble as the two top pay-per-views of the year. People get so excited, man. Like, people in the crowd and the countdowns, like this huge party. It's just awesome, man. So I just can't wait. The energy is going to be off the chain. One reported reason for Bryan Danielson leaving WWE for AEW was to have more freedom in regards to working with other promotions. Speaking about this on the Wrestling Observer podcast, Dave Meltzer noted Bryan Danielson without going into detail, but some people will figure it out. There is an independent promotion which I believe he wants to work for, in a market that AEW has not run yet, and AEW is not against him working for that promotion. But when they run that market, they want Bryan Danielson's first match in that market to be in AEW. Given he is the TNT champion in AEW, many would assume Cody Rhodes re-signed with the promotion, but a recent report seems to indicate the opposite. Fightful Select has learned that the current AEW TNT champion Cody Rhodes is technically a free agent. Cody's contract expired at the end of 2021, and he's been working in All Elite Wrestling without a contract ever since. Based on sources we followed up with in AEW this morning, we're told that some have known about this over the past several weeks. This led to many fans on Twitter suggesting that Cody could make an appearance at the Royal Rumble. Of course, that seems unlikely, but it's always fun to speculate. With them looking to be involved in a feud with Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly, the Young Bucks were recently accused of burying tag teams that are better than them by none other than Jim Cornette, as he mentioned on his podcast. You know, the one thing that the Young Bucks have picked at this stage of the game is that all the tag teams coming in are better than them, more experienced, are way better trained, have better wrestling heads and minds. Because of this, they need to do something about that, because Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing, because he has never done this before. He is more than willing to sit there and listen to people who he thinks are experts. According to PW Insider, AEW President Tony Khan announced that Eddie Kingston was injured this past weekend during tapings for Dark at Universal Studios. Sources are claiming Kingston is expected to miss a few weeks of action. This more than likely means he will not be making an appearance for the World on GCW event on Sunday in New York City. At this time, it's unknown if he will be off programming entirely or what the exact injury is, as we wish him all the best in his recovery. In an interview with TV Source magazine, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair talked about her mini-program with Naomi and named a few other stars she'd love to feud with. I've never had a full feud with Naomi. I'd love to face her again. I want to do a full program with Shayna Baszler. I admire her and her background. I also think that Bianca and I will need to have a full program at some point. I had a taste of what we could do on Raw, and I would like to go back to that and have a full program. She's so athletic and powerful, and I need more time with her. Rhea Ripley also definitely has unfinished business with me. I would love to share more moments with her. I really want to fight everyone. I'm a different performer now, and I guess I have unfinished business with everyone. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.